Hello! Welcome to In the Den with Dr. Jenn, an open-minded and fun place for females to explore sexuality in a comprehensive manner and start thinking about female sexuality outside the box. Sexual satisfaction. What does it mean to you to feel sexually satisfied? What's required? If you're like a lot of women, this probably depends on the specific context. If you're alone or with a partner, how much time you have, how aroused you are, if you're with someone else, how you feel about them or how close you are, whether you orgasm or not, what you're in the mood for, a whole bunch of things. Now we have a special guest here in the den today who has worked for a long time as an advocate for the Latino community, children, women in domestic violence situations, Carolina Ramos. Now she's currently a coordinator in a community service organization where she conducts educational and support groups for lesbian and bisexual Latinas, does one-on-one counseling, legal advocacy for clients, and generally takes a stand for open and honest discussion about sexuality and sexual health. Welcome, Carolina.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. Okay, so you have done a lot of work with women for a long time. Do you think women generally are sexually satisfied?
No.
Okay, why not?
Well, I think that we come from a culture where we have to conform or be submissive to our sexual partners, especially because we're raised to satisfy men. So whether we're satisfied or not, that's not our goal. And we're always taught as women that we should be submissive and we should wait for our partner to initiate. And talking about sex as women to our sexual partners, we're labeled as putas or whores. So it's like we're very careful how we do. Even if we move our hips a little bit when we're having sex, it's like, where did you learn that? So.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of times we're silent about our sexual satisfaction. And it's really sad, but I think the more we start normalizing conversations about sex, the more comfortable we're going to be to say, hey, I don't like that, or I want this, or let's try something new.
Totally.
Without getting labeled as a whore or as a puta.
So you're saying women, in your experiences, if they do any expression of their own sexual pleasure, then they're labeled a whore.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Especially in the Latina community.
And that's what I was going to ask next. You mentioned the culture, and I know you're Latina and you work with Latinas a lot. How does culture, race, ethnicity come into play?
Well, we're raised what we call with Marianismo, which is the opposite of machismo, where we're raised to be like the Virgin Mary, submissive and obedient to men. And so that's kind of how we're raised. So talking about sex is a big taboo. And we're supposed to be sexually satisfying to our husbands, whatever that means. And this is where you get into that missionary position, and you just lay there, wait for him to come, and when he's done,
it's over.
It's over. And whether you're satisfied, and at the same time, if you show any satisfaction, then there's that risk of being labeled or being called, or where did you get that from? So you're kind of taught in a subtle way to just let him come or let your partner come, and you just lay there and take it.
It's like such a disconnect, and that you're taught, like that you need to disconnect from your pleasure, disconnect from your body.
And a lot of us are told it's your duty. You know, things like it's your duty to satisfy your husband and do whatever he wants.
Right.
And it's really interesting because in the Latino world, it's like if you're married, you become like the cathedral. And all the mistresses are the chapels, because the chapels are the ones that you do things with that you wouldn't do with your wife. So oral sex, anal sex, anything like that is left to the little chapels. The cathedral gets the missionary position, and that's it.
All right, so if there's one thing that you wish women would know and learn about being sexual beings, what would that be?
I think it's important to get in touch with your body. Know what you like. What kind of touches do you like? Do you like touches with the hands, with your tongue? What satisfies you? And what are you okay with? And also touch yourself to know what parts of your body you like touch, because a lot of people discover I don't like nipple stimulation, but I do like clitoral stimulation.
Right.
So you won't know that unless you try it and you experiment with yourself. And your body is so sacred, and I think it's important that, you know, I do a workshop called the Sacred Vagina, because our vaginas are sacred. We have the ability to give life that a lot of men can't.
Not a lot. No men
just
can.
Men can. And I think it's once we honor that as a sacred being, then we'll learn how to take care of it, nurture it, satisfy it. And it's okay when you love that part of your body. It's like, this is what makes me a woman, and I love my vagina. And so I want my vagina to feel good, and this is what makes it feel good, to explore that. So.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, and the last question. And so this is the random Gorilla Soapbox generated personal question. Let's see what it comes up with. What is your favorite sexual toy, and why?
Well, let's see.
You travel with your toy?
Just for you here. I love this little thing.
That's the Fukuoka 9000.
Yes, it was a gift from you.
Oh, fabulous.
I like it because you can use it with your partner.
Nice.
Lesbian sex and this works really well together. Because I've discovered you could do a lot of things so that you could put it in between both clitorises, and it works really nice.
Nice.
And you can play with it by yourself, and it's you know, for clitoris stimulation, this is the toy. I love it.
Fabulous. Awesome.
Compact.
Thanks for bringing your prop with you. Thank you so much for coming to the den.
You're
Awesome.
welcome.
Really
Thank
valuable
you.
stuff that you do. And if you'd like to get in touch with Carolina, this is how you can do it. Sexual fun fact number 237. Talking about sexual satisfaction, true or false? Women with spinal cord injuries are still able to experience orgasms, even though there are no spinal cord nerve pathways to send the messages from the genitals to the brain. True. You probably could have guessed that by the way I asked the question. But clearly, sexual excitement and arousal is much more than a physical act, because the pleasure is able to bypass standard physiological processes. I think that's so fascinating. Den recommend. Learning and asking for what truly leads to sexual satisfaction for us can be scary and uncomfortable. But the more that we step outside our comfort zones, the easier that becomes. One way to put this into practice is to consciously do one thing every day that scares you or makes you feel uncomfortable. Make it your mantra. I will challenge myself today, and I will enjoy the growth from it. And post it on your refrigerator and on your steering wheel. Things like this only make us emotionally and mentally stronger. Start with small things and build your way up. You'll know what to do by how nervous or uncomfortable it makes you feel in your stomach or gut. Trust that that is the way of knowing that it's time to push yourself and grow. And then you can bring this into your sexual situations much more easily. And we have one last thing before we go today. Stream of consciousness. I thought, since we have Carolina in the den today, that I'd pick her brain a little bit more and see where she takes us when I mention particular words. So I'm going to say a word or a phrase, and I just want you to say the first thing that comes to mind.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, putting you on the spot here. Safer sex.
Dental dams.
Vagina.
Sacred.
Coffee.
Drink.
Empowerment.
Women.
Sexy.
Women.
Caterpillar.
Bug.
Joy.
Wow, happy.
Feather boa.
Sensual.
Nice. Fabulous. Thanks, Carolina. If writing to me would be your thing of the day that makes you uncomfortable, then visit me at DrJennsDen.com or ZipZapToys.com or email me at Jennifer@DrJennsDen.com. So what do you think of when I say caterpillar? Be kind to yourself. I mean, sometimes in outtakes, I swear, like I've said, I bleep that out because I don't want my mom hearing me say